The hangover hit like a freight train barreling through my skull. But it was the gold band on my finger that made me bolt upright, heart slamming against my ribs like it wanted out. Beside me, Jackson Hayes, my college roommate from a decade ago, lay tangled in white sheets stained with champagne and regret, his chest rising and falling in the dim motel light, a matching ring glinting on his hand. And then, from the adjoining room, came the wail of a toddler, sharp and insistent, slicing through the chaos. "Daddy! Daddy! Up!" I stumbled out of bed, boxers twisted around my thighs, the carpet gritty under my bare feet as I yanked open the door to the suite's nursery add-on, because apparently, we'd sprung for the full family package in our blackout stupor. There he was, a curly-haired 3-year-old with Jackson's hazel eyes and a mop of brown that stuck up like he'd been electrocuted, clutching a stuffed dinosaur to his chest, tears streaming down chubby cheeks. "Who the hell are you?" I muttered, more to myself than the kid, but he just pointed at the marriage certificate crumpled on the nightstand, the one with my signature, Noah Riley, scrawled next to Jackson's in loopy, drunken cursive. Vegas. It had to be Vegas. The strip's neon haze seeped through the curtains like a bad omen, and as Jackson groaned awake behind me, rubbing his temples with that same cocky grin I'd once fallen for in secret dorm room glances, I realized this wasn't just a mistake. It was a detonation. "Morning, husband," he rasped, voice like gravel and honey, pulling me back into the bed with one arm while the kid toddled over, oblivious, climbing onto the mattress with a demand for pancakes now, and just like that, at 32, single and scraping by as a freelance graphic designer in Brooklyn, I'd wake up not just hitched to the guy who'd haunted my dreams since freshman year, but stepdad to his surprise son. Overnight, no takebacks. The first hour was a blur of spilled Cheerios and half-hearted explanations. Jackson scooped up little Milo, his son, 3 going on 30 in tantrum volume, bouncing him on his hip like it was second nature, while I stood there in the bathroom mirror, splashing water on my face, staring at the stranger with raccoon eyes and a wedding band that felt like a handcuff. "Noah, buddy, last night was epic," Jackson called through the door, his voice muffled by the kids' giggles. "We nailed it. Elvis officiated. Remember the fireworks? I didn't." Fragments flickered. The college reunion in LA. 10 years since we'd graduated UCLA. Since those late nights studying architecture blueprints while he sketched high-rises that screamed ambition. Jackson, the golden boy with the easy laugh and the body of a surfer god, who'd crashed on my futon more times than I could count, our shoulders brushing in the dark, unspoken tension crackling like static. I crushed hard, buried it under bro-code bullshit, and watched him graduate, land that big firm job in San Francisco, vanish into straight-laced hetero life. Married a girl from his hometown, or so Facebook lied. Divorced 2 years later. And now, here we were, rings and a ring-tailed toddler. Pushing open the door, I forced a smile. Epic how? Like, ruin our lives epic. Milo wriggled free, pattering over to tug at my pajama leg, boxers, technically with sticky fingers. "Unkano? Pancakes." Jackson's grin faltered, just a flicker, as he ruffled Milo's hair. "Hey, it's not ruin. Fate, look, I know this is nuts, but last night, after the reunion bar crawl, we talked. About everything. The what-ifs. And yeah, I dropped the Milo bomb. His mom bailed 6 months ago. Left him with me and a note saying, "You're better at this dad shit anyway." Court gave me full custody last week. Then we hit the chapel on a dare. And boom. Legal. Legal. The word hung like smoke from a back alley joint. I sank onto the bed, Milo clambering into my lap uninvited, his tiny body warm and trusting in a way that twisted my gut. "Jackson, we can't just, I'm not even out to half my family. My folks in Ohio think I'm still dating that barista from 22. And you're bi, right? Or whatever. This is Vegas, not a Hallmark movie." He knelt in front of us, elbows on his knees, those hazel eyes locking mine with the intensity that used to make my pulse stutter during exam crams. "I'm gay, Noah. Always was. The marriage to Lena? Cover. The firm, the family, Hayes men don't do alternative lifestyles, as my dad puts it. But you've been my what if since that night we almost kissed over cheap tequila. Last night felt right. Milo needs stability. I need us." Milo, sensing the shift, buried his face in my chest, mumbling about dinosaurs. I stroked his back on autopilot, the weight of it all crashing down. Stability? I could barely keep my freelance gigs afloat, dodging calls from collectors in my one-bedroom walk-up. But Jackson's hand on my knee burned through the fabric, and memories flooded. His laugh echoing in our dorm, the way he'd sling an arm around me at parties, casual but electric. "What now?" I whispered, voice cracking. "Now, we eat pancakes. Then we figure out the rest." He stood, pulling us both up, and for a second, as Milo cheered, felt possible. Like the universe had dealt us a wild card, and maybe we'd play it right. By noon, we'd checked out of the Bellagio, upgraded suite courtesy of Jackson's corporate card, and piled into his rented SUV, Milo strapped into a booster seat gnawing on a teething ring shaped like a T-Rex. The drive back to reality was I-15 North, cutting through the desert like a vein of regret. Jackson blasted Springsteen, windows down, wind whipping our uncombed hair, but the high wore off somewhere past Barstow. Milo conked out, drooling on his stuffed Dino, and the silence thickened. "So, the marriage," I started, fiddling with the ring. "Is it annullable? Like I do under intoxication?" He glanced over, jaw tight. "Technically, yeah. But don't. Not yet. Hear me out." The California sun baked the dashboard, turning the cab into a confessional. "Lena's folks are suing for custody. Full. They hate that I'm out. Well, half out. Say I'm unfit because of lifestyle choices. The judge is old school. Noah. A husband, a stable home, tips the scales." My stomach dropped. "And I'm the prop? The gay arm candy to sell the family man vibe." "No!" His hand shot out, gripping the gearshift like a lifeline. "You're the guy I've loved since we were 20, too chicken shit to say it. This isn't a scheme. It's me, finally grabbing what I want. Loved." The word detonated softer than the wedding, but it landed heavy. I turned to the window, Mojave blurring by, heart a riot of fear and fire. "Pull over," he did, at a dusty rest stop with picnic tables scarred by initials. Milo stirred but didn't wake. We climbed out, the heat shimmering off asphalt, and Jackson leaned against the hood, arms crossed over his faded UCLA tee. "Noah, shut up," paced, kicking pebbles, the ring catching sun like a taunt. You ghosted me after graduation. Radio silence. Then boom, reunion, shots, and this? What if it's just the booze talking? What if tomorrow you wake up straight again? He laughed, bitter, running hands through his hair. Straight? Try surviving board meetings pretending to eye the intern's rack. Or holidays with dad quoting Leviticus. I flew Milo out for the reunion because I needed an excuse to see you. Posted that pic on Insta, us at the alumni mixer, arms around each other. Caption, old flames. It was a bat signal. I stopped, breath hitching. That pic viral in our group chat. Likes from forgotten faces. You asshole. Why not just text? Hey, Rumi, I'm queer and miserable? Fear. Simple. Raw. He stepped closer. Close enough I smelled his soap. Felt the heat off him. But last night? No fear. Just you. Our lips met then. Tentative. Tasting of salt and second chances. The desert wind swallowing our gasps. It was the kiss we'd denied at 20. Hungry and real. His hands framing my face like I was the blueprint to his skyline. Milo whimpered from the car, breaking it, but the spark lingered. Back on the road, with LA. Lights pricking the dusk. I slid the ring back on. 6 months, I said. Trial run. If it works, we fight for Milo. If not, annulment, no hard feelings. Deal. His smile was sunrise, but shadows lurked. His family's Bible Belt roots clashing with my Midwestern pragmatism. The custody war looming like thunderheads. Little did I know, the real storm was just revving up. We crashed at Jackson's condo in Silver Lake that night, a sleek glassbox affair overlooking the Hollywood sign, all mid-century vibes and toys scattered like confetti. Milo crashed hard after bath time. Bubbles everywhere, me fumbling rubber ducks while Jackson snapped pics. I soft. You're a natural, he murmured, toweling the kid's hair. Liar, but I grinned, tucking Milo in with a story about dinosaurs in tuxes. His eyelids fluttering shut on happily ever after. Jackson watched from the door, arms loose around my waist, chin on my shoulder. Stay, he whispered. Just tonight. We did more than stay. In his king bed, sheets cool against fevered skin, we mapped each other like uncharted territory. Scars from appendectomies and skateboarding wipeouts, tattoos inked in rebellion. His mouth on mine was apology and promise, bodies slotting like puzzle pieces long lost. I love you, he gasped against my neck, and I echoed it back, the words a dam breaking, flooding years of silence. Dawn crept in with coffee and chaos. Milo demanded Unca no for cartoons, and as I scooped him up, giggling at SpongeBob's antics, the intercom buzzed. Mr. Hayes? Delivery. It was flowers, dozens of roses, red as sin, with a card to the happy couple. Drinks on me tonight, Chad. Chad Whitaker, Jackson's best friend from the firm, the slick VP who'd always eyed him like a merger opportunity. Who's this? I asked, casual as I could, but thorns pricked. Old college pal. Works with me now, Jackson shrugged, tossing the card. But his phone lit up seconds later. Congrats, man. Vegas? Wild. Milo okay. We need to talk custody ASAP. Talk. The word soured the pancakes. As we drove to my rental car at the airport, me flying back to JFK that afternoon, the unease nod. You told him? About us? Before the chapel. Needed a witness. Sort of. Jackson's grip tightened on the wheel. He's cool. Ally. Right? But as I hugged Milo goodbye, his sticky kiss on my cheek a gut punch, and kissed Jackson deep in the terminal, promising texts and FaceTimes, I couldn't shake the petals wilting in the trash. Back in Brooklyn, the gray rain matched my mood. My apartment smelled like takeout regret, sketches piled on the desk for a logo gig due yesterday. I texted Jackson a heart emoji, got a Dino vid from Milo in reply. Normal. Until the email. From Lena's lawyer. Custody petition amendment. Mr. Hayes' recent marriage to Mr. Riley raises concerns of instability. Polygraph requested on relationship authenticity. Deposition in 48 hours. My blood iced. How? Who? The answer pinged an hour later, Chad. Hey Noah. Welcome to the fam. Quick heads up. Lena's team knows. I might have mentioned the rings at brunch. No biggie, transparency, right? Call if you need tips on depots. Winky face, betrayal, served cold. I hurled my phone, screen cracking on the floor. Jackson, when I called, swore ignorance, but the damage was done. The fairy tale, cracking at the seams. The deposition loomed like a guillotine, but first, I had to face the music in Ohio. Mom's voice on the line was all passive concern wrapped in pot roast recipes. Noah, honey, a wedding? To a man? And a child? Lord, your father's blood pressure, pack a bag. Come home. We'll pray on it. Pray. As if rosaries could fix the clusterfuck I'd Vegased into. I booked the red-eye to Columbus, laptop stuffed with half-assed client revisions, ring tucked in my pocket like contraband. Jackson's texts were lifelines. Miss you. Milo's drawing us as superheroes. Chad's an idiot. Fired his ass this morning. Fired? For spilling? Should have warmed me, but doubt festered. Was Chad the only leak? Or was Jackson's ally circle a minefield? Ohio welcomed me with cornfields and conservatism. The Riley family farm a white-clabbered relic of Eisenhower dreams. Dad clapped me on the back at the door. Grip firm but eyes wary. Mom fluttering with lemon bars and sidelong glances at my bare finger. Where's the proof, son? He grunted over dinner, fork spearing meatloaf like it owed him answers. A text? A pic? We raised you better than shotgun nuptials. I slid the ring on, the metal cool against callous skin. It's real, Dad. Jackson's. He's the one. From college. And the kid Milo, he's incredible. Needs us. Us. Mom's brow furrowed. Cross-stitched Bible verses framing the kitchen like wallpaper. Noah. We're Methodists. Loving the sinner. Sure. But this lifestyle, it's a choice. Isn't it? Like that cousin who went Hollywood. Choice. The word was a slap, echoing every slur I dodged in high school locker rooms, every furtive grinder swipe in L.A. Alleys. I pushed back my chair legs scraping like nails on chalkboard. Love's not a choice, Ma. Hiding it is. Stormed out to the porch, the swing creaking under me as fireflies blinked in the dusk. My phone buzzed. Jackson. FaceTime. His face filled the screen. Milo waving a crayon masterpiece. Stick figures in capes, labeled "No Jax Me." Bad dinner. Jackson's voice was velvet worry. Worse. They're freaking. Called it a phase. I traced the screen, wishing for his solidity. You okay? Chad, ex-friend now. Spilled to Lena's dad at golf. Thought he was helping by vetting us. Jackson's jaw clenched. Background the condo balcony. City lights twinkling. But Noah, the depot's tomorrow. Fly back tonight? I need you here. Need. Pulled me like gravity. I booked the last flight, kissing Mom's cheek with a whispered, "I love you anyway." Dad's nod grudging but there. On the plane, turbulence mirroring my gut, I drafted the truth. I'm gay. Married. Stepping up. Deal or disown your call. LA. Greeted me with palm sweat and promise. Jackson met me at LAX. Milo asleep in his arms. A bouquet of wildflowers wilting slightly in the humidity. Heroes unite, he murmured, kissing me slow, airport bustle fading to white noise. Home was the condo, now ours in this trial limbo. Milo's room a explosion of blocks and board books. We tucked him in together, hands brushing over the quilt, and in bed, it was slower, deeper, exploring scars, whispering futures over the hum of the freeway below. Morning brought suits and steaks. The lawyer's office in Century City gleamed sterile, all glass and granite. Lena's team across the table like sharks in Armani. Her attorney, a silver fox with a Harvard drawl, leaned in, "Mr. Riley, describe the courtship." "How long have you known Mr. Hayes?" "Courtship," echoed, glancing at Jackson, his tie straight but eyes stormy. 10 years. Roommates at UCLA. Best friends. More. Unspoken. Unspoken. The word twisted in her mouth. And this marriage impulsive? Influenced by alcohol. Love isn't impulsive. I shot back. Heat rising. It's inevitable. She slid photos across. Us at the reunion. Shots lined up, the chapel Polaroid. Elvis smirking. Chad's Insta story. Blurred but damning. Tagged Vegas vows? YOLO. Witnesses suggest farce. Mr. Whitaker claims Mr. Hayes discussed annulment pre-ceremony. Jackson's fist balled under the table. Lies. Chad's bitter. I canned him for breach. The shark smiled, teeth gleaming. And now you're manufacturing stability for custody? A pity marriage? Pity. It stung like betrayal's echo. I gripped Jackson's knee, voice steady. Pity's what Lena showed, ditching her son for a yoga retreat in Bali. We're family. Rings or not. Hours dragged, probes into finances, mine. Laughably lean. Living arrangements. Condo crash pad. Even Milo's routine Dino PJs. Mandatory tickle fights. By adjournment, sweat soaked my collar. But the judge, a no-nonsense Latina with a gavel like thunder, called recess optimistic. Authenticity matters. I'll review. Outside, Jackson sagged against the wall, loosening his tie. You were a rock. Thank you. I pulled him into an alcove, lips crashing urgent, tasting salt of stress. We're in this. But Chad, swear he's out. Blacklisted. Firm-wide email. His hands cupped my face, thumbs tracing jaw. I love you, Noah. For real, love. anchor in the gale. We celebrated with takeout tacos on the balcony, Milo smearing guac on his dino, laughter bubbling like cheap fizz. But that night, as Jackson slept, I scrolled Chad's now private profile, a thirst trap selfie, caption burned by the boss. Who's next? Comments from mutuals heard about the Vegas stunt. Desperate much? Desperate. Was it? I deleted the app, curling into Jackson's warmth, but seeds of doubt sprouted thorns. Weeks blurred into domestic delirium. I sublet my Brooklyn spot, shipped boxes west, sketch pads, vintage teas, a coffee maker that gurgled like Milo's babble. Freelance went remote, logos for indie bands funding our patchwork life. Mornings, Jackson brewing espresso, me wrangling Milo into Velcro sneakers, chases around the kitchen island ending in flour-dusted hugs. Afternoons, park runs in Griffith, Milo on swings while we stole benches-eyed kisses, his tiny hand in mine bridging us. "You're glowing," Jackson said one sunset, as we picnicked under oaks, Milo napping on a blanket. "Brooklyn agree with you?" "Us," I corrected, feeding him a strawberry, juice staining lips red. This. Even the chaos. Chaos crested subtly. Jackson's firm-piled hours, high-rise bids in Dubai, late nights drafting. I put Milo down solo, reading Goodnight Moon with voices that cracked on lonely notes. Then, the call? Dad. Voice gruff. "Saw your email." "We're processing." Mom's joining PFLAG. "Come for Thanksgiving." Processing. Progress. Ohio style. I cried in the shower, Jackson finding me later, soaping my back with murmurs of pride. "You're rewriting the script, Noah." For all of us, Thanksgiving loomed, but first, Chad's ghost resurfaced. An anonymous tip to the tabloids, out architect's sham gay, wedding for custody grab hit TMZ. Pixelated chapel pics splashed nationwide. Jackson's phone exploded, firm partners demanding explanations, his dad leaving voicemails laced with brimstone. Disgrace. Boy. That devil's bargain. We hunkered down, blinds drawn, Milo oblivious as he stacked blocks into castles for daddies. But the strain showed. Jackson snapping at blueprints, me sketching dystopian skylines in insomnia's grip. "It's him," Jackson growled one night, pacing. "Chad's feeding the rag." "Payback. Prove it." I pulled him down, straddling his lap, kisses fierce to drown the noise. Sex was salvation, bodies battling headlines, but dawn brought subpoenas. Lena's team, citing public scandal for emergency hearing. The courthouse was a circus, paparazzi flashes blinding, Milo's carrier clutched like armor. Inside, the judge's face was stone. "Mister. Hayes, this media storm, you're doing?" "No, Your Honor." Jackson's voice held, but knuckles whitened on the rail. Ex-colleagues' vendetta. Evidence mounted. Chad's texts to a gossip stringer, forwarded by a repentant intern. The shark squirmed, but damage lingered. "Recess," the judge barked. "Counsel." Chambers. Hours later. Verdict. Temporary joint custody to Lena. Supervised visits for Jackson. "Stabilize your house, gentlemen. Rings mean nothing without roots." Roots. We drove home silent, Milo mercifully asleep. At the condo, Jackson shattered. A vase hurled, sobs wrenched from gut deep. I lost him. Because of me. I held him on the floor, shards glittering like fallen stars. Not lost. Fighting. We're roots, Jax. Tangled, but here. That night, love was lifeline, slow, sacred, reclaiming ground inch by inch. But as I traced his spine, phone glowing on the nightstand, a text from unknown, tell Jax hi. Chad. P.S. Milo looks just like his real dad. Winky face, real dad. The knife twisted. Who the hell was Milo's father? And why did Chad know? The text burned a hole in my pocket, but I swallowed it like bad whiskey, waiting for daylight to interrogate. Jackson stirred at dawn, eyes puffy from grief's hangover, Milo already thumping blocks in the living room like tiny war drums. Coffee? He mumbled, pecking my temple, routine a flimsy bandage. Yeah. I brewed dark roast, strong as resolve, and as he scrolled firm emails, I slid the phone across the counter. This came last night. After the hearing, his face drained, mug clattering. Son of a... He snatched it, thumbs flying. Fuck off, Whitaker. Cease and desist incoming. Touch my family again. I bury you. Sent. Then, to me, Noah, it's bullshit. Chad's stirring shit to hurt us. But real dad? The words tasted like ash. Milo's yours, right? Bio? Jackson froze, hazel eyes fracturing. Of course. Lena and I. It was real, back then. Before I knew, he sank onto a stool, head in hands. She got pregnant senior year. I stepped up. Thought it was duty. Then the divorce. Coming out, DNA test confirmed. He's mine. Relief flooded, but ripples lingered. Why's Chad say that? What's his game? Jealousy. Jackson's laugh was hollow. He hit on me at the firm retreat last year. I shut it down, told him I'm with someone. Guess someone became you, and now it's scorched earth. Scorched. Fitting for the custody fallout. Lena scooped Milo that afternoon for her supervised weekend, her smile brittle as she buckled him in. Thanks for the show, boys. Judge says 2 weeks, then review. Keep it clean, no more headlines. Clean. As if love was detergent washable. The condo echoed empty without Milo's chatter. Jackson burying in work. Me in pixels, redesigning a queer-owned bookstore's site. Irony thick. Nights, we clung desperate. Bodies a bulwark against the void. But whispers crept. What if she wins? What if we lose him? Thanksgiving saved us. Or tried. Flight to Ohio was turbulence-free, but landing in familial frostbite. Mom hugged fierce, cross in one hand, rainbow pin on her sweater, PFLAG swag, tentative olive branch. Dad grilled Jackson over turkey, probing, architecture, build bridges, not walls. Jackson charmed, dishing on sustainable high-rises. Milo stories softened with dad jokes. Noah's the glue, he said, arm slung casual over my chair. Keeps me from toppling. Post-feast. Porch swing confessions. Dad, pipe smoke curling. Grunted. Saw the news. Rough. But you're happy? That's the metric. Metric. Engineer to the core. Mom teared up later, slipping me a quilt. For the little one. Family's family. We flew back buoyed. Texts from Lena. Milo asks for Unca no. Good sign? Good. Hopes flicker. But Chad's shadow loomed. Another leak. This to Jackson's dad. Forwarded emails painting the marriage as fraud for favors. Reverend Hayes descended, unannounced, pounding the condo door Christmas Eve like Jehovah's wrath. Open up. Jackson Elias. Bible-thumping bellow. Neighbors peeking. We cracked the door. Milo peeking from behind my legs. Eyes wide at the Santa lookalike with thunder face. Dad. Jackson blocked the threshold. Voice steel. Not now. Blasphemy. Boy, that unnatural union. Stealing my grandson into Sodom. Spittle flecked his beard. Eyes wild on me. You. Devil's pawn. Milo whimpered, clutching my jeans. Rage ignited. I scooped him up, stepping forward. Reverend Hayes, with respect, love Milo like your own, or just preach at phantoms? He's 3. Needs daddies, plural. The old man recoiled, cross-clutched like garlic. Heretic, but his gaze snagged on Milo, softening a fracture. The boy. He looks like Elias at that age. Jackson's hand found mine, squeezing. He is Elias. Our boy. Yours too, if you try. Silence stretched, then a sigh like wind through pines. Pray on it. He thrust a wrapped gift, Dino puzzle, into Milo's arms, turned, vanished into the elevator. We shut the door, collapsing in giggles edged with tears. You faced the dragon, Jackson breathed, kissing me senseless on the rug. Milo tore paper, oblivious, as we made love by tree lights, slow and reverent, reclaiming sacred. New Year's brought pivot. Lena's review hearing, us in court, polished, Milo in tiny suit waving at the bench. Witnesses piled, my Ohio folks via Zoom, Jackson's intern recanting Chad's smears, even Reverend Hayes, stiff but present. My son. Heirs, but love's fierce. Grandson needs that. The judge nodded. Gavel gentle. Joint custody. 60-40 to Mr. Hayes. Marriage noted as stabilizing factor. Congratulations, gentlemen. Cheers silent but seismic. Outside, Lena hugged awkward. For Milo, we shared coffee after. Tentative truce. Her eyes tired. I bailed because I couldn't be what he needs. But you're good. Both. Good. Enough. Home. We toasted with sparkling cider, Milo clinking sippy cup. Then bed, where celebration turned carnal. Jackson's mouth mapping gratitude. My name a mantra on his lips. Forever? He gasped, buried deep. Overnight and always, I vowed, worlds colliding in ecstasy. But bliss blinded. February frosts with Chad's final strike. Lawsuit. Defamation. He claimed fired unjustly. Marriage a hostile work environment stunt. Discovery unearthed emails. Jackson's rejection. Chad's obsession. Photos snapped at the reunion. Us laughing too close. Stalker shit, Jackson snarled. Lawyer conferencing. But the kicker. A paternity test result. Forged header. Claiming Milo 99% match to Chad. Impossible. Lena's fling? No dates wrong. Sabotage. Pure venom. We countersued, but media frenzy reignited. Gay dad drama. Is the Tata token? Isolation clawed. Jackson's firm wavered, partners citing distraction. And my gigs dried, clients ghosting queer stigma. Milo sensed it, clingy, nightmares of bad men's. One night, post-meltdown, Jackson paced, I can't lose you to this. Annul, Noah. Save yourself. Save. I yanked him close, furious. We're not ejecting. Fight. Fight we did. Press conference. Raw. Jackson's voice steady. This family's forged in fire. Chad's lies won't break us. Me beside. Hand in his. Love's our proof. Climax crested in court. Chad smirking across aisle. Suit crisp as deceit. His lawyer spun. Mr. Hayes exploited identity for gain. Child's welfare. Objection. Our attorney. A firebrand dyke. Slam docs. Forensics proving forgery. Psych eval on Chad's fixation. Harassment. Not heroism. Chad cracked under cross. Sweat beading. Lies crumbling. I loved him first. That fag. Gavel banged. Contempt. Case dismissed. Restraining order slapped. As bailiffs cuffed him, his glare pierced. You'll regret this, Hayes. Regret, not. Victory lap was Milo's park day. Swings high. Jackson pushing while I snapped pics. Our thumbnail life, framed in sunlight. But seeds sown deep sprouted late. March rains. Jackson distant. Blueprints ignored. Babe, I ventured one evening. Milo Abed. He sighed, handing a letter firm pink slip. Restructuring. My drama, tipped it. Then, softer, and Dad heart attack. Wants to see Milo. Alone, alone. The word echoed betrayal's tune. Go, I urged, masking fracture. Family, he left on. Me with Milo, building forts from couch cushions. Hours ticked, noon passed. Dusk fell, phone silent. Panic bloomed, voicemail. Jackson, strained. Noah. Dad's stable. But he wants reconciliation. Says the marriage is the devil's work. Asks me to choose. Choose. The blade hovered. The fort collapsed in slow motion. Cushions tumbling as Milo's castle caved, mirroring the shatter in my chest. I dialed Jackson, voicemail beeping mockingly, then paced the condo like a caged wolf. Milo trailing with questions. Where Daddy Jax? Grandpa bad. Grandpa's sick. Buddy. Daddy's helping. Lies. Sugar-coated. I scooped him up. Cartoons a distraction. But my mind raced highways to Cleveland, Reverend Hayes Parsonage. Steepled like judgment. What reconciliation meant. Prodigal son. Sans the rainbow. Night deepened. Rain lashing windows like accusations. At midnight, headlights pierced the blinds. Jackson, soaked, duffel slung, face a map of fault lines. Milo bolted, hugging knees. Daddy, hey, champ. Jackson knelt, voice thick, but eyes slid to me, heavy with unsaid. Bedtime story stuttered. Milo out cold. Then kitchen confrontation. Me brewing tea. Him dripping on tile. Choose. The word escaped. Scalding. He winced, shrugging off wet jacket. Dad's dying. Noah. Clogged arteries. Years of preaching fire. Says Milo's soul's at stake. Unnatural guardians. Offered inheritance. Firm connections. If I End it. Go back to the fold. End us. I gripped the counter, knuckles bone white. After everything, Chad, the courts, the headlines, you'd trade for a checkbook salvation? No! He surged forward, hands framing my face, desperate. I told him hell no. Walked out. But it gutted me, seeing him frail, begging. What if he's right? What if I'm poisoning Milo with this life? Poison. The accusation lodged like shrapnel. You're his father. I'm his whatever this makes me. We fought for him. Don't let ghosts win. He kissed me then, bruising, tasting of rain and regret, pulling me to the couch where bodies warred, fury melting to forgiveness, thrusts deep as vows renewed. I choose you, he gasped, climax crashing like waves on breakwater. Always, dawn brought fragile peace, but the letter from Hayes Sr. arrived certified, disinherited. Pray for your souls. Jackson burned it in the sink, flame flickering biblical, but ashes lingered, sooty reminders. Spring thawed externally, LA bloom of jacaranda purple, but internally, fissures widened. Jackson landed freelance gigs, sketching eco-towers for startups, while I pitched queer campaigns to hesitant brands. Milo thrived. Preschool chatter of two daddies met with hugs from teachers, side eyes from some parents. We hosted a barbecue, testing waters, neighbors toasting, but whispers about that Vegas couple. Then, the bomb, Lena's relapse. Call mid-May, voice slurred. Noah? Jax? Milo's with sitter, I can't. Pick up. Rehab again. Please, please. We flew to her Santa Barbara rental. Milo collected from a harried nanny. Lena on the doorstep, track marks hidden by sleeves, eyes hollow. I'm poison, she sobbed, handing custody papers, permanent, irrevocable. You win. For him, win, hollow victory. We hugged her goodbye, promises of visits, but driving south with Milo babbling in back. Jackson's grip whitened. She's free. We're trapped, trapped. The word echoed his dad's venom. That night, argument ignited over dishes. You think this is Cage? I snapped, sponge slamming. I left everything Brooklyn, family ties for this. For us. And I dragged you in. He hurled a plate, ceramic shattering like trust. Vegas whim, custody ploy. What if it's all been a lie? Me, too scared to stand alone. Lie, hurt lashed back. Then annul. Walk. But don't blame love for your cowardice. Cowardice. The struck bone deep. He stormed out, door slamming echo, me sweeping shards barefoot, tears salting the mess. Milo padded in, thumb in mouth, daddy's fight. Sometimes, kiddo. I hugged him tight, his heartbeat sinking mine. But we fix. Jackson returned at 3 a.m., reeking of bourbon and bad decisions, collapsing beside me on the bed. Walked the pier. Thought of jumping, not literal. Just. Then your texts. Milo's drawing taped to the fridge, us holding the fort. Fort. Our word. I rolled into him, forgiveness fluid. No more ghosts. Therapy, couples, family? Yeah. His arm banded my waist. Anchor. And a trip. Just us three. Reset. Reset. Big Sur. June Glory. Cabin on Cliffs. Ocean Roar Therapy. Milo chasing crabs on beaches. Us hiking trails hand in hand. Rings glinting sun. Nights by fire pit. S'mores sticky. Stories swapped. College crushes confessed. Fears flayed open. I was scared you'd see the mess, Jackson admitted. Milo asleep on his chest. Divorce. Dad fails. Closet case. I saw the man, I murmured, kissing his temple. Still do. Idol shattered July 4th. Fireworks literal and litigious. Chad. Out on appeal. Violated RO. Paparazzi stakeout at our grocery run. Flashes blinding as Milo wailed in the cart. Faggot frauds. Chad yelled from his Beamer, peeling out before cops arrived. Rage boiled. We pressed charges, but the toll mounted. Milo regressing, bedwetting, Jackson's gigs tanking, clients citing toxicity. My inbox. Hate mail floods, groomer. Pervert. One night, post-bath, Milo clung. Bad man go away? Promise. But promises frayed. Jackson's dad passed mid-July. Funeral a minefield, siblings glaring. Eulogy laced with lost sheep barbs. Jackson spoke anyway. He taught faith. I choose mine in love, in family. We left early. Milo in arms, but the weight clung. August scorched, secrets simmering. I found Jackson's browser history, annulment laws, custody solo scenarios. Confronted, he crumbled, just research. For if I bail, pain lanced. Trust, Jax. Or what's left? Therapy unpacked it. His abandonment wounds, mom's early death, dad's iron fist mirroring my own, Ohio repression breeding doubt. Sessions raw, revelations ripping. I married you to trap you, he confessed once, tears streaming. Afraid you'd slip away again. Trap? I laughed bittersweet. I'm here. Choose to be. Milo's preschool open house bridged us, his artwork. My two daddies' crayon scrawl, beaming under fluorescent. Parents clapped. One dad nodding. Relatives? Not. Ours too. Community. Budding. But betrayal's echo resounded September. Leaked audio. Chad's doing, Jackson's therapy clip. Marriage is crutch. Twisted headline. Husband admits sham. Storm 2. Firm blacklist. My agent dropping. We hunkered, but cracks spiderwebbed. Arguments over bills. Silences thick as fog. One eve, Milo down with fever. Jackson snapped at my hovering. Stormed to the balcony. I followed. Rain slicking skin. We're breaking. He turned. Ice shattered glass. Fixable. Try. Kiss in the downpour. Drenched. Desperate. Hauling inside to dry heat of reunion. Bodies affirming what words failed. October chilled resolve. Custody review. Lena stable. Requesting more time. Judge wary. Stability. Gentlemen. We testified tandem. Jackson's designs submitted. My portfolio queer strong. Milo's teacher vouching joy. Granted. 70-30. Us primary. Victory pyre. But embers low. November whispered warning. Jackson's ex-boss call. Opportunity in Seattle lead architect. Fresh start. For us? He broached over pie. Thanksgiving redux. Or him. Brooklyn called too. I lied. Testing. Graphic firm. Silence. Choose. Noah. Echo. The blade dropped. The pie congealed untouched. Fork tines stabbing crust like unanswered prayers. Milo's laughter filtered from the living room. Cartoons his refuge, oblivious to the chasm yawning between us. Jackson's eyes, once my harbor, now storm-tossed, pleaded, Seattle's clean. No scandals, no Chad ghosts. Firm's progressive benefits for families like ours. Families, echoed, voice hollow. Like the one we're shredding, you chase skyline dreams. I trail with sketches and sippy cups, or vice versa. Me in Brooklyn, you zoom-dotting Milo? He recoiled, chair scraping. Not trailing. Building. Together, together, laughter barked, jagged. Your history says solo. Ghosting postgrad. Vegas impulse. Now this running when heat peaks. Running. He stood, pacing, hands raking hair. From what? Your doubts? The annulment tabs you researched last month. Touché. Guilt flushed hot. Fear. Jax. Same as you. What if we uproot Milo? And it flops? New city. Fresh hate. Milo toddled in then. Dinosaur dragging. Daddy's play. We froze. Facades cracking into forced grins. Fort time. Champ. Jackson scooped him. Me trailing to cushions. Building walls higher than ours. As Milo roared, Jackson whispered over blocks. I love you enough to fight this. But Seattle. It's a lifeline. Lifeline or noose. Night's blurred debate. Pros lists. Better schools. Green space. Cons. Uprooted roots. Therapy mediated. Change is growth. Our counselor urged. Not escape. November waned. Decision dreading. Chad's trial loomed. Perjury. Harassment. His plea deal crumbling under evidence. Courtroom climax. Him sniveling. I just wanted him back. Judge's sentence. 3 years. Plus restitution. As cuffs clicked, his glare locked Jackson's. You'll fail them. Like you failed me. Failed. The barb hooked deep. Post-verdict beers with our lawyer-turned-confessional. Chad was my first, Jackson admitted, buzzed loose. Summer fling. Pre-UCLA. Obsessed after I bailed. Closet too tight. First. Layers peeled. But no shock, just context for the venom. And me. Pressed. Foam bitter. Endgame. Kiss sealed it. Bar shadows forgiving. December dusted LA in rare snow. Milo mesmerized by flakes on balcony. We strung lights. Baked gingerbread daddies. Too big. One small holiday haze softening edges. Reverend Hayes will arrived. Bequest to Milo. Trust fund strings free. Note scrawled, for the boy. Love endures. Jackson teared. Reading aloud. Dad's absolution? Endures. Mantra. But Seattle siren sang, offered deadline New Year's. Christmas morn. Milo unwrapping Dino jammies. Jackson pulled me aside. Go or stay? Us. Simple. LA's home. Scandals scar, but we're hewn from them. Freelance boom, my queer lines pitching Netflix. Your bids? Dubai can wait. He exhaled, snow melting on lashes. Then we stay. Build here. Build. Resolution. Eve fireworks burst. Milo oohing from shoulders. Our arms linked. Ringed hands intertwined. Bed later. Lovemaking languid. Tracing futures in skin. Adoption papers filed. Jackson murmured. Spent. Your legal dad. Official. Official. Dawn of us. Spring 2026 bloomed renewal. Milo turned 4. Party a zoo of preschool pals. Cake-smeared faces chanting, "Happy birthday to our Dino King." Lena visited. Sober 6 months. Anti-roll budding. My Ohio folks flew west. Mom cooing over grandbaby. Dad grilling Jackson on solar panels. Bonds bridging divides. Jackson's firm reboot. Boutique sustainable. Him partner. Designs greening skylines. My studio thrived, graphic novels inked. Gay heroes inked bolder. Evenings. Park picnics. Milo swinging high. Us spotting from benches. Kisses casual as breaths. But humanism's hue-tempered triumph. June. Walking Milo home from preschool. A slur hissed from a passing truck. Freak show! Milo blinked. Confused. Jackson tensed. But I knelt. Some folks scared of different. Buddy. But difference our superpower. Superpower. He grinned. Cape fluttering. Rar. Rar. Echo of beginnings. That night, over wine, Jackson raised glass. To overnights that last. Vegas gold bands dulled but true. Milo's snore soundtrack to our tangled bodies. Lives, loves woven tight. Yet, in quiet hours, I pondered the cost. Betrayals birthed, Chad's cage. Familial fractures mended slow. Doubts dormant but deep. Human, messy, America's promise, flawed but fierce. We'd wake each dawn not to wreckage, but wonder, a son giggling, a husband humming, skyline ours to shape. And in that shaping, redemption, not fairy tale gloss, but grit-glued grace. For in choosing us, overnight, every night we fathered more than Milo. We fathered family, from Fallout's forge. Epilogue whisper years on. Milo's wedding, his groom, beaming, rings exchanged under California oaks. Us in front row, hands clasped, tears salt-sweet. To the daddies, he toasts, echoing our chaos to canon. And we nod, knowing love's not hook or high drama. It's the hold after the hurt. The end? Not. Just the ever after, raw and real.